Fox Sports 910. Benjamin Garcia filling in for Jody Ayler today on The Drive. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Ben Garcia Show. If you weren't just with us 4 minutes ago, if you were wondering why the bumper music was playing for so long, it's because we had a fire drill in the middle of a segment. That's a first for me. I would like to say I feel like I handled that pretty well, right? Things going on, it doesn't bother the brain up here. What I will tell you is very funny about the fire drill that just went off, and I'm listening back to the recording. I'm like, can they hear? In the background, there's a fireworks show going on behind me. And then I look back, you guys can't even hear it. Or maybe you did. Let me know on social media at Ben Garcia Show. But it's funny, everyone gets out into the hallway, and instead of everyone, this is probably not that funny, but it is a little funny because everyone's okay. But instead of going into a fire drill in which we're all just thinking, should we be going outside? What should we be doing? We're all a little frazzled. But instead, we're sitting there, hey, are we supposed to go outside? And no one really knew. It was actually very hilarious as I'm still, trying to get things under. I had to figure out what's kind of going on as we're still on the show. I think I'm dealing with it very well. Anyways, let's get back to exactly what we were talking about here on the show. Kevin Durant. There is only one way for the Phoenix Suns to get back to championship contention. Now, that championship contention is not exactly championship contention for this season. The only way the Phoenix Suns can get back into championship contention is in the future. Meaning the next couple of years, which means you have to start planning now. And I'll rephrase everything I was talking about so that we're all on the same page. The fire drill doesn't throw us all off. If you're just joining me now on Fox Sports 910, we had a fire drill happen in the middle of the show. Had to figure out what's going on. So I'll reset for you. Reset for the entire audience. As I'm sitting here texting guests, basically, hey, we got to move back a little bit. Aaron Hughes will now join us at 8:30 from Sports Illustrated, talking all things Arizona Diamondbacks. Can't wait to do that with him. The Phoenix Suns can compete for title contention, not this year, but years after. Here's how they do it. Trading Kevin Durant. The Suns don't have any moves to get better this offseason. They don't. Or at least any way to skyrocket them from non-championship contender to championship contender. They don't have any of those moves. They don't have any of those aces up their sleeve. Nothing. So the only way they can get back to Titletown chances is very plainly like this. You got to trade Kevin Durant this offseason. And I mentioned earlier in the last segment, before we had that fiasco a little bit ago, I wasn't as bullish on the Suns' trade options for Kevin Durant. I didn't think he had much of a market out there. Turns out it looks like it's a lot more diverse than I once thought. And Kevin Durant is eligible for an extension with the Phoenix Suns that he has not earned. His age says you shouldn't give it to him. And the Suns, if they do indeed give an extension to Kevin Durant, instead of entertaining the thought of trading him, or they can keep him if they want. I'm not just advocating to trade Kevin Durant just to trade Kevin Durant. But here's what I will say. Here's what I will do. If the option is there on the table to trade Kevin Durant, they should do it. The Houston Rockets allegedly are interested. It's not a trade that necessarily tickles my fancy. It looks like it would be, and this isn't reported, just money has to match. Remember, second apron woes if you're the Phoenix Suns. Steven Adams, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith Jr., maybe a couple of picks trade. We know Jody said on social media, I agree to this as well. There might be some other key young pieces for the Houston Rockets that could potentially come back. Maybe you take less draft capital and you get those younger pieces. You're not getting Jalen Green. That trade doesn't necessarily tickle my fancy. However, the trade market does say that it's more diverse than we once thought. And if the Phoenix Suns want to come to the terms of reality, what they are, not a championship contender, you got to trade Kevin Durant and figure out what you can get back. Don't just trade him just to trade him. But if you call the New York Knicks, and I'm just spitballing, but I believe the money works out, and you trade Julius Randle and Josh Hart for Kevin Durant, and of course you get some picks back, and maybe you get a Miles McBride as well. Maybe that's something that works out for the Suns. I would do that. That helps add to this team, that helps fill a void with a big body in Julius Randle, although can be a little up and down, and that helps build the Suns and keeps them competitive for the future. Suns fans that are operating in this championship or bust mindset that I was in as well, it's time to wake up from Fantasyland. They're not there anymore. So instead, Suns fans, I know it sucks to hear, instead of just going straight into doom and gloom and woe is us, we can't be a finals team, do something about it. Don't give Kevin Durant an extension. Figure out what you can get on the trade market. And don't just trade Kevin Durant just to trade Kevin Durant, because there is the caveat. Maybe Mike Budenholzer figures it out. I'm not bullish on that, but maybe he figures it out. Maybe he does. But when I see now another article, now another report that Kevin Durant could get traded and that there is a diverse market out there for him and teams are gauging that interest, you have to do it you owe it to yourself. You owe it to Suns fans to explore the possibility of making this team better for the future. And if the Suns think about giving Kevin Durant the extension that he's eligible for, I'll lose it on them. You haven't seen anything yet when it comes to ripping the Phoenix Suns if they give Kevin Durant that extension. I love the Suns team. I've mentioned it was my first love. It got me into sports. But I have to be honest. And Suns fans, you have to be honest too. We're not just trying to be the bearer of bad news here on Fox Sports 910. Benjamin Garcia filling in for Jody Ayler. That's not what we're trying to do. Believe it or not, I'm the good guy. I want to see the Suns get back to title contention, and I know it's not with this team. So how do you do it? You find the best option, you make the best moves, and although it might hurt more than you think, because you're not just trading Kevin Durant, you're basically trading Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson all over again, because you could have kept those guys. Granted, you were never winning a championship with them either. You were going to have to part with them at some point. But it's like you just gave those guys up for nothing. Pull the Band-Aid off. Gauge the interest. There better not be an extension looming for this guy. And figure out what you can get. That is how the Phoenix Suns get back to title contention. Fill up on some young players. Fix the issues that you have in the front court. And possibly get a little draft capital back as well. I promise you, Suns fans, I'm the good guy, because I'm not lying to your face or coming up with crazy trade hypotheticals that are just that, crazy, and lying to you on what the Suns can do, because you are going to be let down again. And there's no one to blame than us as Suns fans who believe this team can accomplish more than they can accomplish right now. I don't like to blow smoke. I don't like to lie to you. It's disingenuous. The best way for the Suns to get back to title contention, title town, is trading Kevin Durant. Not just to trade him, but to find a suitable partner, pin teams against each other, and get every last ounce of assets you can get back.